Whitewashed furniture goes really beautifully in lots of lovely interior styles, and today I'm going to show you how I whitewash some existing furniture and show you some different tips and tricks you didn't probably even know that you needed to know until you knew, so stay tuned. So the furniture we are working with is 35 years old. It is made from some kind of pine, presumably, a bedside table, and then also a large 5-piece high chest of drawers. I'm going to jump between both when I show you how I completed the final look, but I'll show you both at the end. I started off by sanding the nightstand. I used 80 grit sandpaper. I used an electric sander. You could do it by hand. There was more detailed, intricate sections that I ended up doing by hand. And actually, if you have areas that aren't going to be seen, don't worry about taking them right back to the bare wood. You can simply key the surface to make sure that the paint will really adhere well. That will cut down a lot of your work. On both of the items of furniture, we had this frilly bit at the bottom. And to make it a bit more contemporary, I basically drew a straight line and jigsawed along this bottom edge and simply sanded it with 80 grit sandpaper and a small sanding block. Once everything was sanded in with 80 grit paper, I then moved on to 120. The way sandpaper works is the lower the number, the rougher it is. I felt 120 was fine. We could have done something a little bit more refined with a higher number like 240, but actually we were quite happy to have this kind of shabby chic look, so we stuck with that. And I then used 2 shades of filler because I happened to have 2 shades of filler. I mixed them together to make a light brown. This is a 2-part epoxy filler. This solidifies really quickly. It's great to work with if you're doing really fast projects. And I am using a benefits card from a local restaurant to fill this because I don't use the benefit card very often. I still go to the local restaurant, I just don't use my benefits card. I then sanded back the filler once it dried. You need to take it all back until you can just see the small hole that was filled. It might take a little bit of work to do that. We're going to start the whitewashing process. So I used 2 samples I already had from Farrow and Ball. They're just water-based emulsions. All I simply did was put my paintbrush into the water, picked up some paint and started to work it in. As you can see, the wood is really quite yellowy and I wanted to lighten the undertone to make it feel warmer. Whitewashed is typically a very kind of pale grey. I built up areas that I felt needed more and I watered it down in areas that I felt needed less. Make sure you always go with the grain of the wood, so here I'm going up and down, and then in the lower section I'm going from left to right, and then you can wipe it off and use a dry paper towel. It will feel a little bit rough and crispy at first, but once it starts to loosen up and get a bit softer, you'll be able to really start working in and washing off in areas. The customer wanted to use their existing handles on the lower half of the units and these beautiful Corston antique brass knobs on the top half. These were really clever in the respect that they gave you a sticky back plastic for the backing plate. So we installed these on the top 3 drawers and then we used the existing handles on the bottom ones. In order to achieve a really great cohesive look, we used this antique gold rub and buff. This is a really clever product that's a great way of finishing old handles or just changing the tone of existing handles. You simply use some paper towel and rub it on. The finished look could not be more different from how this furniture started out. I'm absolutely delighted with the way that this furniture turned out. Probably cost around about £60 to do, the main cost being sanding sheets. This looks like furniture that would cost thousands of pounds, and it's gone from that really dark varnished look to this beautiful soft French oak feeling wash. Is absolutely stunning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Customers always ask about how to achieve whitewashing. Please give it a thumbs up, it really helps me out, and if you could subscribe to my channel, that would also be massively appreciated. If you enjoyed this video, click on the rectangular link and watch this other video that you may find interesting if you enjoy a bit of home DIYing.